Hello. I watched the big fight, or I heard the big fight, I should say, on radio, Radio 5 Live. It was a bit of a delay because of the pay-per-view buys coming in. I think it started around um, close to 5 a.m. in the morning UK time. Um, that's what I've been doing with big fights of late. It's very old school. It's almost like being in the 1930s. There's a scene in the film Cinderella Man where his wife is listening on the radio. I almost felt like I was a 1930s boxing fan, sort of listening on the radio. But I've been doing that I've done it with Mayweather Pacquiao, I've done it with Joshua Klitschko, and I've done it last night with Mayweather McGregor. It's not the same as watching the actual fight. I can't because I don't have pay per view. But nevertheless, it still gives you sort of an idea of excitement of a building fight. We know now Floyd Mayweather Jr. won. It's not hugely surprising, but I think the circumstances are certainly raise a lot of talking points. Now, I don't want to talk in great detail about the fight itself. Obviously, I didn't see it in terms of directly see the fight. I've seen clips here and there, but it wouldn't be appropriate for me to talk in great detail about exactly what happened in the fight, obviously, because I didn't see it directly. I heard it, and that's not the same thing. Nevertheless, I think I can fairly say a few talking points around this. First, by all accounts, Conor McGregor really put on a performance. He really pushed Floyd Mayweather hard. As I understand it, this was one of the toughest fights that Mayweather has ever had. So anyone in the boxing world that underestimated McGregor um, should retract that from last night. By all accounts, he showed real grit, real determination, and real courage. He was the crowd favorite. Whether that psychologically helps a fighter or not, I think Mayweather is used to being the unpopular heel. If it was professional wrestling, he's used to that role. Nevertheless, I do think now it's about time that maybe fans start respecting Mayweather and respecting just how great this man is. This is a 40-year-old fighter who has once again overcome adversity. Now, okay, this was a technical knockout. It wasn't perhaps an ideal finish. Just a quick word about the referee. I know there's going to be people attacking him for stopping it too early. That's always the case in a big fight. But my philosophy on that is better too early than too late. And McGregor himself said he was tired. Now, from a referee's point of view, you can't gamble on a man's life. Of course, the fighter himself is going to protest. Of course, the fans won't like it. But look at the fighters who have ended up, permanently disabled. Look at Gerald McClellan. Look at others. It's always better to be a few seconds too early than a few seconds too late. And it's not that Floyd's the biggest hitter in the business, but based on the radio commentary, they were given the impression that McGregor was totally exhausted. Now, the referee would have been seeing that, and he would have had to make a split decision. It's a very, very, very difficult job, and people need to appreciate what referees have to do. I think it would be wrong to criticize that call. Like I say, even if it was a few seconds too early, um, by all accounts, McGregor was very exhausted, although so was Mayweather. But 50-0, I mean, can anyone honestly deny Mayweather's greatness? I can't believe there are people out there still who are trying to dampen Mayweather's legacy and try to say, oh, he's not all that. Come off it. This is a man who is astonishing. I mean, 50-0 in itself would be impressive, but it's the people that he has beaten. I mean, just one big name after another. Um, and okay, you can say some of them were past their best, but if you're going to use that argument, then the same argument would have to be used for Rocky Marciano. You know, it's exactly the same thing. I honestly believe Floyd Mayweather. I mean, what he's done, his legacy is to be outstanding in the ring, the greatest defensive fighter of all time, and then to come out of it with his health intact. That he is right to say that that is something to be proud of. I don't understand people who think that a great fighter should just continue until they're punch drunk. This is a dangerous sport, and I don't understand people who criticize Mayweather's defensive approach. And as for running, it's bullshit. It's just complete nonsense. He came in last night, and I have seen a few clips of it, and based on the commentary, he was really he was an aggressive fighter in several of those rounds. So I think it's very unfair to say that Mayweather is always on that defensive posture. It's not true. It's just that he's an outstanding defensive fighter. I really do think that Mayweather would at the very least be in the conversation for the greatest fighter of all time. And that is not something that I say lightly. You know, there's Sugar Ray Robinson, Henry Armstrong, Willie Pep. Muhammad Ali is the greatest heavyweight ever. I don't think he's the greatest boxer ever, with the greatest of respect. But, you know, this man really has to be in that conversation for being the pound for pound greatest fighter of all time. He's definitely the greatest defensive fighter of all time. Um, And it isn't just about the 50 and 0. There's been other fighters who've had far more wins than either Floyd Mayweather or Rocky Marciano, but it's the names that he has beaten. I mean, Manny Pacquiao, Miguel Cotto. It's just one name after another, and Sugar Shane Mosley. You know, the list goes on. Um, what more can you ask of any fighter? Ignore his personality for a second. Ignore all the extravagance. Ignore the way he boasts about money. Actually, I've said a lot about Mayweather's personality. To be fair, last night he was very magnanimous in victory. He praised McGregor. He wasn't braggadocious. He even showed, I would describe, something of humility. So let's be fair to Floyd Mayweather. But this man really deserves utmost respect. As for Conor McGregor, again, huge respect. He went outside his comfort zone. He was in a boxing match. He gave his all. He done very, very well. You know, absolutely. There was two winners last night. That goes without saying. So Conor McGregor can hold his head high. It's a shame about the level of trash talking leading up to this one. I wish it had been a little bit less of that. I will say one thing though, that unfortunately there are black racists coming out and claiming that, oh, white people all over the world will be killing themselves, they'll be crying their eyes out. I'm a white guy. I was rooting for Mayweather. I cannot stand people who bring race into boxing, and just poison the atmosphere with this nonsense. It's got this, and Al Jazeera was doing it. It's there was no racial overtones in this fight. Come off it. At the very least, there might have been a few comments here and there. People were saying, for example, McGregor's use of the word boy, but that's an Irish thing. They call each other that. You know, to try and inject racial overtones into this, which is what I saw this report on Al Jazeera, and this black professor at Harvard or something was trying to say, oh, it's symbolic of the Trump era, and he was trying to inject social science into it. Nonsense. It's just nonsense. What you had was two guys who are both known for being quite arrogant and full of themselves, and it was just a clash of personalities. Mayweather won. So my message to those black racists is stop it. Just you're bringing off into the sport, okay? I'm a white guy. I support Mayweather, and I've supported many other black fighters. So take your crap and take that poison and bring it elsewhere, because it helps no one. It doesn't help the sport of boxing. It's nonsense. So that's the one sour note on all of this. It's a pity that people have to get to the gutter and bring race into it. It really is. Okay, I'll leave it there. There isn't really much more to say. But really, if you're a boxing fan and you cannot at least give Mayweather some credit, I would suggest you're not really a boxing fan. You don't have to like him, and you can even argue, okay, well, he's not the greatest of all time and for whatever reasons, but at least respect the man, respect the things that he has achieved. I mean, really, I'll leave it there. Thanks for watching.